Plan on flying? It's time to upgrade to a Real ID. Because in order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a Real ID, or you'll need another acceptable form of identification. So don't wait. Find out how to get your Real ID at tsa.gov/RealID. That's tsa.gov/RealID. Or visit your local DMV. And then you'll be cleared for takeoff.
Okay, so today's deep dive, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
We're not really looking at like a specific document or policy or anything. We're kind of zooming in on a news story that, I don't know, it's kind of gotten some attention. And
it really has.
Got all these layers to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth kind of picking apart. So
absolutely.
To set the stage, we're talking about Representative Kay Granger.
Okay.
She's a Republican from Texas, been in Congress for a while.
A long time.
Since 1997.
Yeah, she's a powerful figure.
Yeah, she's a major player.
Especially recently as the chair of the House Appropriations Committee.
Right. And for our listeners who might not be familiar with the ins and outs of congressional committees, that Appropriations Committee, that's essentially the one that controls the purse strings of the entire federal government.
Exactly.
Like they decide how money gets allocated to all the different programs and agencies.
Huge.
It's a big deal, which makes
one of the most powerful. Oh, absolutely.
entities in the House.
Which is why this is such a fascinating situation we're looking at here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because she's not running for re-election.
Right.
Which, okay, fine, whatever.
I mean, that happens.
She's been there a long time.
Yeah, you'd kind of expect that at some point.
But she's also been missing from votes for months.
Right.
Like crucial votes.
Including some on government funding.
Yeah, exactly. Like the stuff that...
Pretty important stuff.
That her committee...
You would think she'd be there.
Supposed to be, front and center on.
Right.
And there's all this talk, all these rumors.
Yeah, there's a lot of whispers.
About her health. About what's really going on.
Right. And it gets kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Because how do you handle that as a government?
Well, and that's what I think is so interesting about this whole thing.
Yeah.
There's no set protocol.
Right.
For when a representative can't fulfill their duties.
Yeah.
Because of health reasons.
We've got procedures for the executive branch.
Right, look at line of succession, we've got that all figured out.
Exactly, very clear.
But Congress, it's
it's all about being there.
You got to show up.
You got to vote.
Yeah.
So this is kind of uncharted territory in a lot of ways.
So, okay, let's back up a second.
Yeah.
What do we actually know, for sure, about what's going on with Representative Granger?
Right. Well, the information's pretty limited, which is understandable, privacy and all that.
Of course, yeah.
Her son has said publicly that she's living in an assisted living facility in Fort Worth.
Okay.
And that she is facing health challenges.
Okay, so we've got, confirmation that things aren't...
It's serious.
Great.
Yeah.
But the specifics?
We don't really know the details.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we've got this powerful politician clearly dealing with something serious.
Right.
And a system that's
doesn't know what to do.
Doesn't have a playbook for this.
So what about the people she represents?
Right.
The people in her district.
Her constituents.
Yeah, in Texas.
The 12th district.
Yeah. Do they just not have a voice in Congress right now?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, she still holds the seat.
Right. Until her term's up.
Exactly.
But if she's not there...
If she can't vote...
On these big issues?
Yeah, the ones that affect her constituents.
Then are they being represented fairly?
It's a tough question.
It does kind of feel like there should be some mechanism.
Yeah, some sort of procedure.
To address this.
Well, and that's why this whole thing is causing such a stir.
Right.
Because it's highlighting this gap.
In the system.
In our procedures.
Right, so some people are saying, hey, we need more transparency.
Right, about the health of our elected officials.
Yeah, maybe even mandatory health evaluations.
Which, that raises all sorts of questions.
Right, privacy.
Yeah.
And are we discriminating based on age?
Exactly. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And then you have folks on the other side saying, well, what about term limits?
Right. To avoid these situations altogether.
To make sure that someone who's maybe not up to the job
doesn't stay in power.
Right.
But again, that's a whole other can of worms.
It is.
With all sorts of...
There are arguments for and against.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a simple issue.
It's so interesting, though, because this isn't just a one-off thing with Representative Granger.
No, not at all.
Right. This kind of speaks to a much bigger trend.
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned earlier, aging leadership.
Yeah, it's a global phenomenon.
You really...
We're seeing it all over the world.
Yeah.
The average age of world leaders is going up.
It's true.
And that raises all sorts of interesting questions.
Like, what does it mean for representation?
Right. Like, are the people in power reflecting the demographics of the population?
Yeah.
And what about the transfer of power?
Yeah. How do we make sure that happens smoothly?
Especially when you have leaders who might be, facing health issues or cognitive decline.
And how do you lead a world that's changing so rapidly?
Right.
When you've got this, older generation in charge.
It's a challenge.
I mean, here in the U.S., this Congress...
It's one of the oldest in history.
Yeah, the average age is almost 60.
Think about that.
So this isn't just some inside baseball story.
No.
This is something that could have huge ripple effects...
On politics.
On how countries are run.
Around the world.
Around the world.
Yeah, so for everyone listening...
This is something to pay attention to.
This affects all of us.
It does.
Yeah.
So it makes you think, like, what do we want from our leaders?
Right.
Do we need age limits?
Are those fair?
Yeah.
Or do we need better systems for, transitioning power? When a leader is no longer able to serve effectively?
It's tough.
It's complicated.
Yeah, there are no easy answers.
No easy answers.
But it's a conversation we need to have.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, Representative Granger's story,
it's personal.
Yeah.
But it also shines a light on this much bigger issue.
Of aging leadership.
And how we deal with it.
In a world that's constantly changing.
Exactly.
So it really makes you think about representation, transparency,
accountability,
and how we ensure
effective leaders
as the demographics of our leaders
keep shifting,
continue to evolve.
It's something to think about.
Yeah, it's something to really consider
for all of us
as we move forward.
As voters,
as global citizens.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because this isn't just about one country.
It's about the whole world.
It is.
So who knows? Maybe this deep dive will kind of spark some curiosity.
Yeah.
Get you thinking about the political landscape.
Not just in your own backyard.
But all over.
All over the globe.
Because sometimes one story can open up a whole universe of questions.
It really can.
And it's up to us to kind of grapple with them.
To find the answer.
And to shape the future.
So keep thinking. Keep asking questions.
And keep exploring.
That's what it's all about.
That's the deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.